Put that. Hold on. That's so good. Hey everyone! Welcome! Talking about the birds today. Oh, he's so sweet. Just a couple of our little babies here at Fireflake Farm at a rescue. All right, are we on? Everyone in? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yappy Hour. Today, we're going to talk all about birds because it's National Pet Bird Day, whatever that means. But I love birds, and I don't know if you guys know that. I don't know why. Maybe because since I was a kid, I have been rescuing them and helping them. I also, when I was a kid, was a magician, so I always had doves for my magic tricks. So I spent so much time. I grew up on a canal in Miami, so we had everything you could imagine: wild birds, ducks, lots of Muscovy ducks. So I love them, and I have been working with them my entire life. I wanted to introduce you to my latest rescue, which you have to understand, when people around me find animals, I'm the first person they call. But this is Brenda, and she, don't know if she's a homing or a racing, and as you can see, she's missing a leg. So a friend of mine found her and him, even though her name's Brenda, and she, we rehabbed her and helped her little leg heal up, and now she gets around really good on one foot, as you can see. But what I've learned about these beautiful birds is that, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, where at a wedding or some sort of celebration, they take the birds, the doves, and they open and they all fly out peacefully and happily. Well, that's a business, and often those birds are very tame and have never been out in the wild. They're not homing pigeons at all. They have no idea how to make it back home, or if they do, they don't make it back home because they either get hit by a car or fly into something, or a bird of prey gets them, because they have no idea how to survive out in the wild. So it's funny how many people find these birds that are just lost, and Brenda has a little a ring on his foot, but doesn't go to anywhere or mean anything. And yeah, I'm not sure I would want to return him to the person who just kind of flung him out into the wild like that. But beautiful bird, so sweet, obviously very tame and likes humans a lot. And I think we're gonna see if we can rescue him some girlfriends, so he doesn't get lonely and doesn't need so much attention from us. But yeah, birds, the best thing about birds is that they are so resilient, and they are such good candidates for a full spectrum hemp extract. And just like us, and like all of our other animals, they have an endocannabinoid system, and it's perfectly safe for them to use a full spectrum hemp extract. And all of the things that it helps us with, and our dogs and our cats with, it helped birds with. So those of you who own parrots and cockatoos and cockatiels know that they can get very stressed out. So it's something that's really good for them. But everything from helping them with pain, birds have seizures, so it helps them with controlling their seizures, appetite, digestion, everything that you could possibly think of that it helps us with, it helps birds with. And birds suffer from a lot of the same things that we suffer from. But before I talk to you about some of the things I use it for, our full spectrum hemp extracts on a regular basis on my farm, before I tell you how I use it on a regular basis, how some of my friends who also rescue parrots use it, I want to welcome Chris from the Hawaii Bird Rescue, who is one of our favorite resources for helping birds heal naturally. And hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us from Hawaii. How's the weather?
Yes, thank you so much. Oh, it's beautiful. Actually, it's a little bit rainy, so nobody jump on a plane here. We need some sunshine.
I hear you. I was going to do this today outside. Yeah, and now it's pouring down raining, so me and Brenda are in here. But I know that you've been using you've been using CBD with great success at the rescue. You're a rehabber at the rescue?
Yeah, so I will rehab some of the tougher cases, but we're a network of rehabbers within the Hawaiian Islands, and we work to rescue mainly the wild birds. So the birds that people really don't want to work with. We do occasionally work with domestic birds, but mainly the wild ones.
And what kind of birds are you seeing? I know that you have so many different species on the islands, and I follow you on Facebook, so I get to see a lot of your rescues. But what do you see the most of? Most rescues, what are you involved with when you see them getting hurt and injured? What is it that you're seeing the most?
So I would say the most often call I guess we get is poultry, so chickens. There's a rampant amount of feral chickens, and people really don't look at them as birds they really want to rescue. So most recently, we've been getting a lot of chickens that have either been poisoned, they've been, shot or gotten hurt. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but the type of injuries we see are quite severe. So this would be a great example. This rooster was essentially on the brink of death. He was beaten. We think he was mainly a bait rooster. So if you're not familiar, or you may be familiar with cockfighting, it's horrendous. And the bait roosters are roosters that they capture and, let their fighting roosters.
Kind of like a bait dog.
Yeah,
with the dog fighting.
Absolutely. And then they just dump them on the street to die. So Good Samaritans, they come and they find these roosters or these birds that are just, on the brink of death, complete with internal bleeding, injuries, and we see a severe amount of trauma. This rooster in particular, really, we didn't know if he was going to make it. But we do use CBD, especially the heel, in treating massive amounts of pain. We have seen the best results, even more so than NSAIDs, or with the combination use of NSAIDs, such as, Motrin and other types, for a great healing response. But when traditional NSAIDs were off, the CBD dog health heel, either the cat spectrum, the cat one or the dog one, either or, birds respond great to both. I'm shocked. I actually haven't seen such a great response. I didn't anticipate seeing such a great response in birds as opposed to, canines and felines.
Right. I mean, we started with dogs for the obvious reasons, but any animal that has the endocannabinoid system, which is all animals, including humans, can benefit from a cannabis medicine. So I'm so glad that you are seeing the benefits and that the dog or the cat on the label didn't scare you away. Because that's the number one thing I find with birds is that birds, when they're injured, it's hard to figure out where they're injured sometimes or where they're hurting. So being able to give them something that's all natural that immediately gets rid of the pain, and it immediately does it. And I've got some rescue stories too, where you can tell because they'll let you know if you're doing something that hurts them. They're gonna squawk or let out some noise to let you know. What is this one? We've got another baby. Looks like a little chick of some sort.
Yeah, just another little feral chick. This one was really malnourished, paralyzed. We used the full spectrum again heal. It was perked up, ready to go. And you can see the pain relief in their eyes as soon as we drop the heel down on them, watching them just kind of relax and let their body heal.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I'm also seeing a boost in resistance to mites and other sort of immune system boosting. So I really am happy with using that. And that's not to say that I don't use ease as well, because I've used ease on older roosters that, you know, may have some arthritis.
Absolutely.
Watched 12-year-old hens, you know, usually just sedentary for the last 2 years, dosing with ease every morning and now running around the farm.
Yeah. And it's a good thing, because sometimes, you know, you really got to catch the bird and pick them up and get it in their mouth, which isn't always so easy. I've got some videos of me doing it, but a lot of times I will do that for my really old, sick ducks and chickens and geese, is I will put it in their food, which is great for them. And you see them, instead of just sitting around doing nothing, they're up and they're, whether it's a duck or goose getting in the water, or a chicken, they're scratching and looking for things to eat, or taking a dirt bath. And that's, you know, evidence that they're having a good time.
Oh,
they're feeling better.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
Amazing.
one of the news, I don't know if you have the slides for that, but it's turtle, the minor bird. We work with minor birds all the time. So
I love minor birds. Do you hear that?
Yeah, Turtle Talk Story.
I love minor birds. Do you hear that? I've got Brenda on my desk still.
Coffee, coronavirus.
Oh.
Is this one of yours?
Yes. So this is actually, and turtle was found as a little naked minor bird on the ground. One of our rehabbers, Candy, she's been a long time rehabber. She decided to nurse turtle back, probably fallen from the nest, hand fed her, got her ready to go. Turtle turned about a year old and started to show severe neurological symptoms of seizures. So she would be all high up in her perch and just drop down to the ground and start seizing out.
Wow.
And it was getting worse, where the rehabbers, Candy and her husband Al, could no longer let Hertz stay up on a high post, because if, you know, she fell, it could be fatal.
Wow.
So what I had recommended is use the heal, use the CBD dog health heal, dose it every morning. So Hertz is, I would say, a little bit more tame than, you know, your average bird. So you can put it on the nape of the neck or in the mouth. For Hertz, we did nape of the neck, and she responded really, really well. Within the day, her seizures stopped.
Awesome.
And within the week, she was back on her perch and starting to talk again. Because as the seizures got worse and worse, you know, she did stop chatting. She just kind of was scared to get off her perch at all. She just really wanted to stay in her carrier. She wasn't eating, and you could tell she was really in a lot of pain and distress. But we've been dosing her every day, once a day, even twice a day some days, and she is almost completely back to normal.
Awesome. So the good thing about birds is that I feel like they're a little bit more like us, meaning they're not like dogs, where we have proof that dogs have a lot more receptors than we do. Birds, not necessarily. They're more like us. So when you think, oh my God, a full dose of heal for a dog, I mean, for a bird, which is 42 milligrams of full spectrum hemp extract, seems like a lot, but it's not. And if you're dealing with a bird who there's something life-threatening, whether it's an injury or seizures or whatever, that's what I start with, just to know that I've gotten rid of the pain, anxiety, or whatever it is that's happening, so that I can then decide what to do next.
Absolutely. We've now used CBD Dog Health Heal in every single fallen bird we see. So using it, even if it's not internally into the beak, onto the neck, we've seen not so many seizures, a really just decrease in anxiety, like you were mentioning earlier, because it's very stressful for these either a baby or even adult birds to be captured by us, when they've been living free their entire lives. And just to see a little bit of relief so that their body can heal is miraculous. I mean, we've worked with even birds that have been impaled, doves that have been impaled, and we've used the cream as well to help heal it up nicely, and really helps to free up our time because the wounds are healing so nicely, and we can set them free and not tie up our time just, holding the bird for months and months and months.
Yeah. And if there's one animal that I have brought back time and time again from the brink of death, it is a bird. And it seems like it's every spring when the hawks are picking up, teenage ducks and chickens and birds and dropping them and having, issues with that. And literally I will take a bird and same thing, dose them, keep them in small, area for a couple days, and they are literally back to normal. One thing you keep bringing up, which I love because it's very important, is that you talk about giving it to them on the nape of the neck. And that's one of the best things about a bird, is that their skin is so thin that when you do put it on their skin, it gets absorbed right in. So necessarily getting it in their mouth, you don't have to worry about if you're trying to get rid of pain or get it on them immediately. So I love that you've discovered that, because coming towards a parrot, who doesn't want something in their mouth is scary, but being able to put it on their neck is a great thing. Well, that is awesome. I'm glad you're having so much success. It makes me so happy.
Oh, thank you to your products. I mean, it's made our rescue be able to cut costs significantly. So, if you think about how much, we're a small rescue and a lot of us work, out of our own pockets like any other rescue.
Right.
And the cost of an exotic vet here in Hawaii, just for the appointment itself, is around $80. Wow. From there, it's usually around another $100 for, pain meds and diagnosis. And if you think about it, the cost of one bottle of Heal, or even the Soothe, we've used Remedy for tumors on birds.
Yeah.
That can be used across 4 months for many birds. I mean, it's reduced our cost so much and better results than what we've seen from using antibiotics and watching flesh and, the feathers come back so slowly through these harsh things the vet prescribes. And not to say that it's, not necessary. I have just personally seen much better results within our rescue using the natural holistic products that CBD Dog Health has.
I'm so glad to hear it. Thank you. And we'll check in with you later to hear more of your stories. I love it. We want to share them all because I know having birds is more expensive, especially when something goes wrong and you've got to try to figure out what it is. And that, again, is the best thing about a full spectrum hemp extract, is that it's going to take care of so much without doing any harm, without causing any like NSAIDs and antibiotics cause harm. When CBD will do the same thing without causing any harm. So I am really excited that you've discovered that. Hopefully there'll be other rescues watching and you'll be an inspiration, because it's awesome how it brings them relief.
Yeah.
And helps them so much.
Well,
thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Chris. I can't wait to see you one day in person.
Yes. Come on, hurry up.
Bye, Chris. So Chris talked a lot about some of the same things I do here at my rescue for Firefly Farm. And I love it because I can't show you guys, but Brenda is still right here on the desk with me hopping around. And she's so sweet. I love it. But a lot of the things that she has dealt with is what I've dealt with, from, a chicken being attacked by a dog, where I think the chicken is gone, dead. I just run. First thing I do is go grab the heel tincture and run and give them a full dose, because what this does more than anything is that it stops any pain and suffering and stress and anxiety. And I will go to that chicken and give them a full dose, and literally within 20 seconds, watch this chicken that has just been attacked by a dog get up and walk around, where I have to like go catch them so that I can then treat the wounds. So it's, crazy how it turns off their pain. They just don't feel it anymore. One of my favorite stories is Peggy, who is a chicken that was found almost dead, and she had a broken leg, had been plucked to nothing, was in a pile of dirt. I thought she was dead when we found her. But these are, some of my animals. She's the middle chicken. Second picture in there, you can see where it looks like her leg is backwards because it was so broken. It was facing completely the wrong direction. And when we found her and picked her up, she actually belongs to one of my neighbor's farms, who asked us to look in because they were out of town. And we found 2 chickens, Peggy being in the worst case, outside of the coop in this terrible condition. And the moment I picked her up, she squawked in pain. So the first thing I did was give her a full dropper full of the heel. And literally after that, I could completely manipulate her leg and turn it around, and she didn't make a peep. That is how strong it is on turning off that pain mechanism. So this is her, I think this is week 2. She's feeling a little better. You can see she's not using the leg yet, but it's facing the right direction. And this is in the 2nd week. This is how fast healing can happen, from where the leg goes from broken and completely the wrong direction to the facing the right direction and healing. And then by, week 3 and 4, she now uses the leg for standing, and she will use it for balance, and she puts some weight on it. You can see how her face is a disaster. Her beak is all off center, but she's the sweetest in the world. But there's her leg now, and she still favors it. She's gonna hide it from me because I touched it, but she uses it, and it's using it, and it's a very healthy, happy chicken who lays an egg for me every single day. I'm very talkative. But yeah, you can see some of the damage done to her face, and you can see her beak is also off center. But I think those 2, the dog bite chicken and Peggy, were just the most remarkable as far as how quickly pain gets turned off and healing happens. But some of the other things that I've used it and that I love using it for is, some of the other animals here in the picture is really old ducks. We've got some really old Peking ducks who I know are feeling arthritic, are a little slow down. So they get it every single day. And oftentimes, like I said, when I was talking to Chris, I'll put it in their food because it's easy and there's so many of them. But I have rescued crows, again, every spring, and birds flying into, mirrored buildings or glass buildings or falling out of nests. So I feel like I get a little of everything every year, but I've raised owls and crows and blue jays and mockingbirds and doves and pigeons, and so a little of everything now, with great success using CBD. And one of the biggest things is using it for parrots, for our parrots and our parakeets and our cockatoos. And that one of the best things about it is that you don't have to worry about putting it in their mouth. You could put it right on their skin. So one of my best, experiences with putting it on a parrot is when we were visiting Dr. Jill Rubenstein on the Healing Naturally tour. And she gave us access to treat any animals that we thought would benefit from using the CBD. And she said, but stay away from that parrot in the other room because he's got major PTSD and will bite you. So, just ignore him, of course. I can't ignore a bird, especially a crazy bird. I love crazy birds, especially parrots. So, worrying about getting bit was not, I wasn't going to get it in. So that was probably my first experience of putting it on the skin of the neck where it's so thin. And as you can see, the bird has plucked itself and it has a cone on its head because it won't stop plucking itself. So of course I gave the cockatoo a full dropper of heel on its neck and rubbed it in. And as you can see, calm and was making friends with me, within 30 seconds. And she was amazed. She's like, how did you get that bird to let you touch him? Well, that's how. Give them some CBD and they'll calm down. But one of my managers at my shop, Beautify the Bees, Chili, also rescues birds. So we're always comparing stories, and she has many of them, all kinds of different beautiful birds. Here's two of them. Olivia, who actually obviously has a plucking issue that she uses both the tinctures and the salve to kind of help relax him, help the follicles for the feathers to grow back, because it's amazing for their skin, not only for their emotional behavior, but for their skin and everything that they're going through inside. And then Buttons here, who has a hurt leg, broken leg. We don't know. She thinks maybe wrong perches, something wrong when it grew up, but CBD helps them every day. So Chili, if you're watching, great work on using CBD on your birds. But yeah, I use them on anytime I see anything wrong with my birds. So my geese, for instance, I think we've got video of me applying it to one of my geese, Khaleesi, who always gets a little infection on her neck, where I will usually apply either the Soothe salve or the Heal tincture on her neck so that it can bring her some relief. And they love it. I think it's because it's an all-natural product. The smell doesn't give off anything that freaks them out. Here's Khaleesi getting some, rubbing on. You can see the little area on her neck where the feathers aren't growing. So yeah, we rub it on there for her, and they love it. It brings them relief and helps them heal. So it's something that's perfect for them. And I think we mentioned it a little bit when we were on the video with Chris, but dosing is actually more like what we would do for humans than what we would do for dogs, because as we've said many times before, dogs are more sensitive because they have more receptors than we do. I don't find that with birds. So birds aren't as sensitive. It seems like they would be, but they're not. There's also no danger. They can't overdose. It's not going to hurt them. A bird, I don't even know what a bird high looks like, because every time I think I've given an injured bird so much that they're going to be woozy, they're not. They're up and they're walking and they're doing regular bird stuff. So I don't even know what a bird looks like high. Maybe we'll go sit and rest. A lot of times if I've got a bird that's injured, and I will clean, injuries out, give them the heals, what I'll do first, then, assess the damage. If I've got to go to a vet or I can heal them and help them at home, I'm going to put them in a dark, cool place so that they can just sleep and heal anyway. So maybe that's why I've never seen one high. But these are the dosing kind of starting points that you can use. But every animal is different, just like our dogs and cats. Every bird is different depending on age and disease and what's wrong with them. So this is kind of a good guideline if you'd like to start with dosing them, but it's not something that we have to worry about. The only time that cannabis is dangerous to the birds is if you're smoking it and secondhand smoke from it or vape, and they're inhaling it. That's when it's going to be dangerous. Other than that, they can eat the hemp seeds, they can eat the hemp flowers, the leaves, the tincture, everything, and it is not going to hurt them. Matter of fact, some farmers have issues with birds, getting into their outdoor hemp crops where they steal the seeds off the plants or the nectar, or eat the flowers. So birds have been eating and consuming cannabis for centuries with no issues. So maybe that's why they're so great at handling it and why it's so good for them. And sure, I could make a product that is specifically for birds, but it would be the same product that I make for dogs. So you can use the dog and cat products on your birds with no issues whatsoever. Yeah, it was funny because there's a million pictures of cannabis plants or hemp flowers with hummingbirds. Some looked Photoshopped, but I finally found a good resource that was trustworthy. But yeah, birds have been stealing hemp nectar and seeds for a really long time. So it's something that they've been, doing. I can't think of anything else that I haven't talked to you about of how many different ways you can use a full spectrum hemp extract to help your birds, but it is wonderful. Again, if you've got many animals, dogs, cats, and birds, I like having all three of the tinctures on hand so that I can turn to them in case of an emergency or if someone's feeling a little achy. But yeah, Soothe Salve is my favorite of the salves for my chickens and my birds. I use it a lot because I have lots of roosters right now. I rescued a whole bunch of, oh my gosh, I didn't talk about wet pox. Wet pox. I rescued a whole bunch. We have a area here in Tampa called Ybor City, and they have chickens all over the place that have been there forever. And gosh, I guess it was almost over a year ago now, I rescued a whole bunch of them. And what happens is because there's so many chickens, people come and dump chickens there all the time, and roosters. So I inherited all of these little chickens that had no mom, and they all had wet pox. And I had never dealt with a virus on my farm like this before, which was pretty good, which was probably good that I didn't know what wet pox was. I just immediately started treating it with CBD like I do everything. But I literally used CBD, colloidal silver. I put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in the water, but I think there's video of me giving one of the birds CBD, but you can see day 1, day 2 of it actually falling off and healing and it being just a open, but it completely fell off. And I actually had chickens where I treated one of them where I didn't give them any CBD and the others I did. And the one I didn't give CBD to didn't survive. So that's how strong an antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, immune supporting medicine, all natural medicine that this is. But Carter, if you go back to the pictures of the day 1, 2, 3, you can see how fast, if you can support an animal's immune system, especially when they're young, they will heal really fast. So, of course, once I got through it, some of my chickens got wet pox also because it's extremely contagious. I didn't know this. I didn't know that it could kill all your chickens in your entire flock, but it didn't. I quarantined, which that's another thing about chickens that are so freaking cool, is I notice when a chicken doesn't feel good, it separates itself from the rest of the flock. Nobody even had to ask it to do it. It just separates itself. That's how I know when one of my chickens is sick. So, and usually I just bring them in, give them some heal, wait a day or 2, and they're back to normal. So it's an amazing all natural, and that's why you can use it for just about anything you could possibly think of, because it will help whatever it is. Even if it's just getting rid of the stress and anxiety and pain, at least you're doing that until you figure out what's going on. So I think I've covered everything now. If I haven't, I've taken questions. I don't know how I'm going to see your questions. I guess, Carter, will you tell me if I've got any questions? But let me know, because it is one of the best things to have on your toolkit for holistic healing for your birds and all your animals. Oh, hi, Nate. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so glad. I didn't know you had any birds, but thank you for tuning in. I haven't seen some of you guys. Hi, Amy. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Yay, Hawaii Island rehab group, bird group. You're one of my favorite. Follow them on Facebook. They have some amazing stories, and I love it. You guys are great. If you guys, oh, and I love your picture. You're holding a chicken. Like we have a great picture of me with my big boy, who's this gigantic rooster that was also dumped at Ybor City that we rescued. And he's just the dumbest, biggest, sweetest thing in the world. All right. So if we don't have any questions, if you do have questions, you're always welcome to post it if you're viewing this later, and we'll answer your questions and get back to them. But if not, we have all this information on my page on CBD Dog Health. And of course, if you want to follow the Hawaii Bird Rescue, please do so. Thank you so much for tuning in. And have fun healing everybody naturally in your not your entourage, your menagerie of pets, including birds. Thank you, everybody. Good job.